Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Watchers in the Dark. I'm your host, Dave Garrett, and we're going to be going over what I did this past weekend. And that was the U.S. Chicago Open by GW. We're just going to go through my list, some matchups, and how we felt about them with the new Leagues of Votann. So let's head over to my list real fast. There, bam, there we go. We're using BCP today. Sorry if the formatting's a little bit shrug, whatever. But yeah, we're going to go over it. So let's start off the list. I had a high Carl upgrade to be the a call upgrade to be a high Carl. We gave him the Flair and the, what's the name of it? The Warrior Lord. So this gave him a 7 attack, strength 5, AP -3 attacks at damage 2 with reroll failed to wound. So he basically just has like Teeth Chair, reroll failed to wound. The damage can't be prevented. So he was just cutting through people. Just kind of a melee threat to get us out of jams that we weren't too keen on. We brought a normal call with just Combi Vulture and Plasma Axe like the other guy. Damage 2, all that fun stuff. Both Rampart Crests just because we didn't really need the Teleport Crest. I didn't think. Maybe I would change that going forward. I'd probably bring the Teleport Crest just to use them for some late game objectives to get on the points. Troops. Okay, so here's the thing. Every squad came with the med pack, the Panspectral Scanner, and the multi-comms array. So what those do is the first time you take damage or fail a save on the unit, you ignore that damage that you take for the unit. That's what the med pack does. The multi-comms array allows 24-inch bubble of reroll 1s from a call. This Panspectral Scanner ignores light cover and gives you the scanner keywords, which helps with a few stratagems, stuff like that. So nothing crazy. We're not breaking any molds or anything like that. On to the actual units. We had two 10-man units with the bolt rifles or the auto pattern bolters. Sure. We had a unit of 2 units of 10 of those with a railgun, all the same things we just named. Every unit has those 3 things. We had 1 unit of all ion, still with the med pack, scanner, comms. Then we had 2 20-man bricks of ion with double railgun, or rail rifle, sorry. Then we had 3 units of 6 bikers, which each had the comms array, scanner, and the searchlight. And then each of them had 2 Magna Coil autocannons. Or sorry, not 2. A high las rotary cannons, which are 9 shots, strength 6, AP2, 1 damage. So pretty good guns. And that was the bulk of my list. We were working with just the starter box. We didn't have anything else special in the box. So yeah. So now we're gonna go on to what we played against round 1, how those went. So, our first opponent's list was Space Marines. It was Iron Hands, or sorry, it was Salamander's successor. So sorry. But he had 2 squad. He had an Assault Intercessor squad, an Incursion squad, and an Infiltrator squad. Sorry, I thought those were 2 Incursion squads. 2 Aggressor squads with the Flame Gauntlets, all of that fun stuff. One was a 3-man, one was a 5-man, if I believe I'm correct. Then he had Centurion Squad, Apothecary, Storm Speeder, Thunder Strikes, and then a Squad Eradicator and a Squad Eliminator. So he's going very much all primaries. He also had an Inquisitor here. Game 1 was pretty good. He ended up going first, I believe, because I couldn't get in line on basically anything. Turn 1. So I pregame moved up the bikes. Just got into a position, but I kept my characters as far away from the Inquisitor as I possibly could. Basically, just to deny mental interrogation. Throughout the game, he tried to get mental off. He only ended up getting it the very, very, very last turn of the game. So yeah, we did a pretty good job at denying secondaries there. He also ended up taking the Salamander specific trait, which is insane. You basically pick a point, and then if a unit gets shot and survives, they get a point when they're on that point. They control that point with the infantry model. They get 2 points. It's just kind of out of control. And I am blanking on what he took for his last secondary. But yeah, that was round 1. We ended up winning that one. Does it tell me how much we won by? Does not. Oh, these are the tables numbers. We could go check after this. But I think I won by like 20 some points. It was 97 or 96 to like 74. Okay, we're going to go over Jake's list now. Jake was a fun opponent. He was playing Drukhari with a whole bunch of different stuff going on. He had like a Black Heart detachment. He has a whole bunch of Corsairs through here. Unit of Homoxites and a unit of Hextric Blood Brides. And some Trueborn and stuff. Some Hellions, Scourges, just do some R&D or whatever. But then he had a Tantalus, which I basically tried to ignore the whole match. Basically, my strategy this whole tournament was hopefully I go first, pregame, move my bikes 12, move them 12 again, get on their line, shoot the things that really hurt my army, and then charge the small stuff because I'm OBSEC. Normally, not all of them are OBSEC. And just like control points and like shove them in their own home field. But yeah. So with that, this matchup went pretty usually. He peeked out, shot a whole bunch of my guys, but just didn't really have the firepower to finish me off. The Votann shooting was just a little bit too powerful. He also intervened, and luckily my bikes were able to kill his succubus before she was able to swing, just because of some high rolls, which really took him down. But I basically just ignored the Tantalus and was able to just work out my game plan from there. So this was a pretty good win. This was another 97 to, I believe, 73, somewhere in there. And then we played round 3 into Mike Nice. Or Nice. He was a great guy, great opponent, playing Imperial Knights. So, what does this chapter just say? House Terranus. I'm going to botch this. Basically, what this house does is some crazy things. You can bring like double, what is it called? Double Knight Crusader, and use the Master Tactician thing here to do like on average 20 to 32 mortal wounds. Which I did not understand the full ramifications of. But this matchup went very south for him. I was able to charge a bunch of his baby knights turn 1, a bunch of the Helvrins turn 1, and shoot down one of his big crusaders that he ended up using 2 CP to stand back up, and he actually made the roll to stand back up. But he basically just got locked turn 1. Turn 2, he was able to do a little bit damage, kill most of my bikes, but I was able to just bring down one of his big knights, bunch of his small knights, and he just wasn't able to compete with how much OBSEC my list had. So round 4, we played on the Games Workshop live stream if you want to go check it out. Day 1, I believe, day 2, round 1, very first stream of the day. Me and Andrew Gagno played, and he is a fantastic player. Everything looked great. You guys can go watch it there. I pregame moved because I knew I was going first. Moved up, went to drop a Riptide, dropped one of them, wounded another one, and then charged some Kroot. Didn't kill all the Kroot. The Kroot kind of swung back and did a number on me, which I wasn't expecting. And yeah, basically what happened is he basically just he survived with enough Kroot and was able to repel me, and then just like slowly out maneuver me, which was a little bit heartbreaking because I knew that was one of the weaknesses, but I was really just going to cripple his forces as soon as possible because I knew that if I win the first 3 turns of the game decisively, I don't think he can bring it back in the last 2 because I think I zeroed him for primary turn 1 and I forward him for primary turn 2, and I had like 2 12s, but then he was just able to make a big enough dent back and push me back off of it. Okay, we're going to go on to round 5. In round 5, Bloody Rose. I fought Bloody Rose. And this is egg on my face. I actually totally forgot about Void Armor there for a second. I blipped in time for a second and forgot no rerolls to wound. So I gave him the first turn Morton Vol buff on a unit of Repentia and just let him slam into me, and he killed like 15 of my 20-man brick, which hurt. But we were able to just do the same thing as we always did. We pregame moved, we moved up, and then we tagged everything and shot and just really took good trades and just really tried to like make the most out of our squads. And it ended up paying off. We were able to cut through a bunch of his inventory and really get to his characters and take them out of the game ASAP. He was able to take out both of our calls, which hurt massively because then we would lose rerolls ones as an army. But we were able to tie up his 2 squads of Retributors here at the bottom of the list for most of the game. I think they only shot 1 time total, and that game ended up being like an 87 to 60 point loss for him. And then we're going to move on to game 6. Game 6. Yep. I played against Leviathan. I tried doing the same tactic I always did, where I pregame move, and then, but he went first, and he was able to get a lot of damage on me with these harpies down here. The harpies came over, shot a bunch. I was making saves left, right, and center on my infantry squads, but he was able to just take through a little bit. And the mortal wounds this list can put out with the, what are they called? Zoanthropes. Yeah, Zoanthropes, and his just the amount of psychic powers he had just overwhelmed me and just did mortals. I just wasn't able to really break them because he just like I just couldn't dedicate enough firepower to kill them because I was trying to kill his OBSEC so I could take points from him and try to get ahead that way, because he just out secondaried me a little bit in this game because I gave up no prisoners so easily, so available to him. So it really ended up hurting me a lot. But he ended up winning the match. I believe he only ended up winning by, I think it was 15 points. So it wasn't a crushing loss, but this was another rough loss after I missed top bracket. Sorry, I'm trying to get the exact score for you guys. Bam. He beat me by way more. Yep, this was Borden. He beat me 89 to 66. This is probably my most crushing loss of the event. Ganyo also did number me. I think he got 90 to 57. So these were my first 2 losses, Ganyo and Borden. But moving on to round 7, we played against my good friend Brenton. Brenton Weiss. He's playing Tau with double Riptide, bunch of crew, 1 Crisis Brick, and then a Cold Star, and I believe Shadow Sudden. Yep. And that game was very close. We were shooting back and forth. He's never really interacted or looked a lot into Votann, so I had a little bit of an upper hand because I also played Tau. I played at the Michigan GT and took 12th, I believe. So ran a very similar list, but he was able to just really bog me down with Long Strike. Using that sub-munition stratagem, which just rails you for mortals. Tons and tons of mortals. He was able to outmaneuver me a bit with the Crisis, being able to use the 1 CP, jump at 6 after they shoot, and just really just outmaneuvering me. Like a lot of the matchups I feel like I struggle a ton into. I went first this matchup and was able to rush him a bit and get some damage in, do some mad damage. Oh, wait. Did I go? No, I did not go first in this matchup. Yeah, his Sun Shark stayed on the table. He went first and was able to bomb me and just kind of outmaneuver me because I have to deploy a little bit in the open to make it those turn 1 points. If not, I'm just not going to make it to the points in time to actually score primary or anything, and I'll just lose on that because, like I said, in the Tau matchup, you kind of have to win the first 3 turns of the game, have a little bit more survivability to win the later half of the game. Or at least like win the overall game. You're kind of making that choice to try over that. So that was my 3rd loss, was to Brenton. So I'm 4-3 at the moment, feeling a little bit down. This was one of my favorite matches, or one of my favorite opponents, I should say. Tyler Johnson. he was playing Drukhari again. He had a bunch of really cool stuff going on. He was basically playing the double Void Bomber, which has two, what is it? It's like 2 Void Lances or 4 Void Lances, something like that, and the Void Mine. So what the Void Mine does is basically picks a point over where they crossed once per game, and everything within 6 of that point, you roll a 4+, and on a 4+, they take D6 mortals. So if you have 2, it basically guarantees you're going to roll a 4+ against somebody. And it can be so devastating. And we were both like, man, if you go first, we're playing mission 31, I believe, where we're in the 2 corners. So we have a very tight defense zone. I'm like, he's going to hit every single one of my giant units at least once, statistically, maybe twice on some unlucky units. And that's kind of what I was hoping to dodge, and I ended up going first and was able to take out the planes. And at that point, he was like, "You've shot 2 bike units and you still have a third one left, and you're about to kill a ton of infantry," and just decided to call it. It was also late. It was day 3 of an 8 round. Sometimes you just get defeated turn 1 and you call it. But yeah, that was my event. I went 5-3. You can see my stats up here. I played Ymir Conglomerate, and basically what that does is gives you a 5 invuln with a +4 inch range, and if somebody has a judgment token with an half range, you get an additional AP. So it's just a very, very strong trait. Just an insane trait that gives insane abilities to, like, already decent AP army, just give them more AP. But yeah, that was my Chicago Open event. I had a great time. I hung out with Brad Chester again, Nick Nadavati, and all of them from Death or Glory, Brenton Weiss, Tom Ogden, everybody. I love seeing everybody. Anna and all of them. So it was a fun time. I love the Chicago Open. My biggest complaint with the whole trip is I wish our day 3 just didn't have a break and we could have just played through it, because it's only a 2 round, and gotten lunch and left to go back to where we came from. But yeah, thank you all for joining me today. We're just trying out some new content ideas. And thank you. Well, with that, I will see you guys in the next one.